away we go.
Yeah, we straight chillin', serial killing, pre-cold villains on the mic, got you reeling. 5-star rated from the floor to the ceiling. If you catch a 1-star, no time for feelings. Got a demon DJ on the ones and twos, by the name Beelzebub, so don't get confused. So grab a seat by the fire, roast them all over two, and prepare to hear the legend of the straight chillin' crew.
What up, nerds, and welcome to another Salty Santa episode of Straight Chilling, the weekly horror movie review show where you chill and we kill, slice, dice, and chop up yet another horror movie. My name is Bob. I'll be your host for the evening. This is episode 401, recorded Sunday, December 11th, 2022. Tonight we're talking about Violent Night, that new David Harbour hotness. Before we get into it, let me introduce everyone else on the show. First up, calling in from Washington, D.C., we got our boy, Randuce. What's up, man?
Hallelujah! Holy shit! Where's the Tylenol?
Where's the Tylenol, Bob? I'm gonna need it. I have supplanted my Red Stag in favor of some other heinous concoction that I made on the fly. Would you like to know what it is?
I need the drink specs, please.
Okay, I need your help coming up with an appropriately abhorrent title for this drink. This is raspberry Monster Energy drink mixed with white rum and flat ginger ale. It's really great.
It's call it a white boy Christmas.
I'm calling it a Santa sack full of shit.
His sack is full of shit, and you're gonna chug
And
it.
like the white boys, that's not appropriately heinous enough. It has to be something more malicious. Because this shit tastes. Like this. You think that Red Stag is syrupy, man? This tastes like fucking, like drinking a Denny's syrup container.
Randy, you deserve better. Treat yourself better.
I don't.
Oh man. Last but not least,
Definitively.
calling in from Jacksonville, Florida, we got our boy Soju. What's up, man?
What up, bitchy boy, ho 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 states. I'm glad we got the Christmas bumps rocking, and we get 2 Christmas episodes this year. I'm so pleased.
Doubling down.
I'm
Last year
so
we were
pleased.
slacking a bit. So
No, last year
Catching-
we were good. I think we got
catching
P
up.
Deucing last year.
the
P
P
deuce.
and the deuce.
We
That's
could, but it
not-
was like
that's not
2
helpful to
years
those
ago
not
or
in the know.
something. Yeah, 2 or 3 years ago we missed one, so we're making out for it this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. With that new David Harbour hotness.
Also, boys, welcome to the 400s. Here we go. Let's
Oh,
go.
God.
401. Let's
Strap
make some
in.
new memories. Come on.
Everybody better bring the heat, or we're all fired.
You fired, bitch.
We got a double.
How
that
about those
return
clowns
on
in
investment.
Congress? What a bunch of clowns.
That's great material, Randy. Thanks for
I
bringing that.
Evergreen.
That's wonderful. Before we get into the main event, let's tackle a little bit of housekeeping. So we do have our January poll currently posted on our Patreon website. If you support us at the $5 level or above, you get the chance to vote on a movie we're talking about this January. The theme for January is shit we missed last year. And the 3 movies to vote between are The Menu, Barbarian, and Smile.
Bob, how
Hey.
those numbers looking so far?
Barbarian is certainly in first place. The Menu is in second place. Smile is in third.
Oh, I heard some people had that number 1 on their list of
Some
the
people
year.
really have the hots for Smile, I hear.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
surprising to us all, apparently.
They
Yeah.
should change the name to Frown.
Oh, wow. This is the biting wit that you come here for.
This is why no one's listening to our list.
Okay.
Well, make sure you get your votes in before the end of December. We'll see what movie we're talking about this January. We just dropped another mini cast over on Patreon this past Friday. Juice, you were talking about that new hotness on Shudder called Salam.
Salome, yeah,
Salami.
whatever it is.
Salome.
Yeah,
Rigatoni.
gabagool.
Yabagoo.
Yeah, that is from Senegal, not Nepal. Yeah, so I talked
Nailed
about
it.
this a few times on what you've been watching. We talked about it in announcing the mini cast, but yeah, you should definitely check it out. Action and horror. It's definitely got more of a summer feel. It's not a great watch for this
Yeah.
time of year.
Yeah.
But wait till the weather maybe gets a little warmer or whatever. But definitely a movie you should check out. Yeah, broaden your horizons.
We're very much catering to this to our film watching to our surroundings at all times.
Dude,
It's
first
not-
yeah, when it's Christmas time, you watch this Christmas horror.
You do
film.
prioritize.
You got to.
You watch P Deuce now.
I told you you can eat my cookies.
Watch P Deuce and then listen to our episode.
If you support us at the $10 level or above, you get access to all of our Patreon exclusive episodes. We have over 80 on there now. We'll be dropping a new one actually on Friday the 23rd. I am going to be talking about Christmas, Bloody Christmas.
Oh my god, we get a Christmas
Mm.
mini episode too, and a
Oh,
bonus YouTube
Oh.
episode on Christmas, a Christmas Carol.
oh my God.
Whoa.
That's
Can
enough
you
of that.
believe it.
Christmas came early, folks. So yeah, keep your eyes and ears peeled for that. Dropping on the 23rd. So by the time this episode drops, our documentary will be available for you to watch on YouTube. Juice, you want to remind the folks the deets
Sentence
on that?
still have trouble adjusting to that sentence being spoken.
You know, just
Go
a
ahead,
little,
Juice.
YouTube video, that you should be checking
little-
out. I mean,
a
just a
little
little thing we've been putting together these past couple weeks. Yes, check it out. Solid 1 star. It is to accompany our 400th episode. We have been doing this for 8 years. I took it upon myself to make sure that people knew the Straight Chillin' history. You're going to get all the dirty deets on our documentary. Check it out on our YouTube page right now. Yes, check it out.
It is called
I'm solid 1 star.
Oh,
Solid
did I not say the
story.
title?
Solid 1 star. Yeah.
Yeah, it's up there. It's going to be pinned forever for the rest of our lives.
For-
You'll be
yeah.
able to find it.
Yeah.
None of the details are going to change.
Mhm.
Nothing if not consistent.
Nope.
Check that out. Slam it into your eyeballs, and we've got some outtakes and some bonus footage coming later on next year too from that.
Mhm.
So
And Randy made a sweet new design for it. Maybe eventually
Yeah.
down the road we'll convince them to allow us to put it on a t-shirt.
we'll see.
I mean, you can. I don't see the value of it, but
Yeah. Yeah, that was a sweet new logo you made. Well, kind
Yeah.
of like a spin-off of the logo.
It's a
whatever.
spin-off.
Yeah.
that's what we
pretty
call
cool.
in the
Dope.
business a play. But that might be a little too inside baseball for you guys.
Oh my
Randy,
God.
save it for when
Whoa.
people are watching the documentary.
Called an iteration,
Uh,
actually.
Wow. Yeah, check that out on the YouTubes. Also later on this week, Randy, you have a guest spot coming up on another show, don't you?
I do. My buddy Mike over at Advent Calendar House invited me over to discuss one of his annual Christmas or twice a year. He does a run of about 12
Semi-annual.
episodes. I don't know what the proper terminology is,
Yeah.
but he's invited me on to discuss a holiday episode in particular, a very cut lip Christmas, the Wonder Years episode, involving Coach Cutlip. I don't want to say more because, buddy, the spoilers in this fucking thing. Let me tell you.
Ooh.
No, I mean it's pretty on the surface, but it's a great episode of a great show, and we're talking about it at the jolliest goddamn time of the year, with somebody who's very knowledgeable about that. So excited for my appearance. It drops the same day as this episode, Wednesday. Advent Calendar House. Check it out.
Nice. We got Christmas shit coming out of our ears, man.
Yeah,
Oh,
you know
man.
what? The Simpsons need to do like they did Thanksgiving spinoff. They needed to
Yeah.
like a Christmas
dope.
Carol, Krampus, and something else. so we
Silent
can
Night,
talk
Deadly
about
Night.
it. Yeah, come
Yeah.
on, come on.
That'd be dope. We got a couple other things coming later on this week, actually. So we're going to be doing a Joe Bob watch party Friday, December 16th. He's coming back to do a Christmas double feature.
Oh.
And that's going to start at 9 p.m. Eastern time on Friday the 16th.
Okay.
If you are interested in joining our watch party, I'll throw out a Zoom link so you can join. I'll drop it on all of our social medias just before showtime. You just click that link and it's free. Anybody can come hang out if you're interested. We watch Joe Bob and we chat along while he's doing his movies and his ridiculous spiels and rants. It's a lot of fun. So if you are interested in joining, like I said, it's free, and mark a calendar, Friday, December 16th, 9 p.m. Eastern time.
Nice. Old Dick
Bob, I'm just
Bibbs. We
noticing
know
how
him.
nice. Yeah,
We know him.
you know, he calls us up.
Yeah,
occasionally.
I know, sometimes.
Yeah.
Says some nice things about us. You know, praises us generally.
No big deal.
Puts our
No.
names in his mouth. You know.
Randy,
us
you were
in his
saying
mouth.
about Bob.
I was just noticing how like perfectly that hat fits around your earphones. It sits so lovely atop the dome.
I
That's
can't
some
believe
bonus
it hasn't
feature
fallen
behind the
off
scenes.
yet. Yeah,
I can't either.
it's lasting. So I don't know.
My-
Yeah,
It looks almost as tight as the one I was wearing at the live show. So,
That's
that one
almost
must have
as tight
fallen
as
off, too.
what? Oh,
the hat I was wearing at the live show,
Yeah.
that was also sitting delicately atop my head, about to fall off at any moment.
Yeah, this is the same hat.
No, that was
No,
the
that's
hat
no,
I
the
was
one I
wearing.
had
Oh, it's
was
not?
plaid.
Oh, the one Justin was wearing.
Plaid
I
red.
don't know what you guys wear. We do have one last little bit of housekeeping, real quick to tackle. This is a big one. We are going to be reopening the You Pick the Flick tier Sunday, December 18th.
Oh, that's in 1
18?
week.
That's
1 week,
so
yeah.
soon.
Actually, that's
Uh,
in like 6 days. Damn.
Yeah,
Get yourself
Uh,
a Christmas present. Get yourself a holiday gift
treat yourself.
while you
If-
Or
can.
get it for a friend.
For a friend, yeah, you can do
the
that.
perfect gift. Make the
If,
straight chilling crew talk about something. Oh my god.
Pick your
if you're-
friends' movies like you would pick their nose.
If you're a new listener, you're wondering what the fuck the You Pick the Flick tier is. It's pretty self-explanatory. This is the only way you can outright pick a movie for us to review on the show. We open up this tier over on Patreon quarterly, and there's only 5 spots per quarter. They tend to go very quickly. And to try and even the playing field, we open up the tier at an undisclosed time of day. You just kind of have to check our Patreon site periodically throughout the day and see if it's open. If it is, go ahead and grab a spot. Like I said, there's only 5 that go quickly. That is going to be opening Sunday, December 18th. So it resets. So anybody that picked 2 movies this year and we're unable to pick another one, it resets. It's open, free range, free for all. If you want to pick a flick,
Nice.
you can. So,
Nice.
So if
yeah,
you
mark
want
your
that
calendar.
Practical Magic episode, you know.
Mhm.
Boyd's wife, I know.
If
I
you
know
want to
you're
pick
after it.
Twister, you need to
Byron's
get on
wife.
it.
That's what it was.
Fired. If
Byron's
you want to
my
do
practical.
Justin's bidding, you just do whatever.
Says
he fucking
Mr.
says.
Godzilla 98 over here, okay?
Hey, the people wanted to hear us talk about it.
Mhm.
It's in the file now. That's all the housekeeping I got. Anything else you guys want to mention?
Nah.
Tight.
We are tired of mentioning other things, especially Juice, I imagine.
We do too many things, okay?
The-
We do.
This house is clean.
This house is clean.
All right, let's get into the main event. We're talking Violent Night. We're kicking it off with the back of the box.
What's on the back of the box?
Ooh.
Bob, did you pre-order this box for next Christmas?
No, you can't pre-order it yet. Not yet, little
Wow.
buddy.
Okay.
Little buddy.
Too bad. Too bad.
I know
for
you're
me.
fresh to this whole blue hunting business,
You
but there's
don't know.
actually a brace. There's actually a little period where you
Yeah, I
can't
know what you're
pre-order.
talking about.
Aw, too bad for me.
Fucking noob, scrub ass.
We're talking Violent Night from 2020 Deuce with a runtime of 1 hour and 52 minutes, rated R. This was directed by Tommy Wirkola, written by Pat Casey and Josh Miller, stars David Harbour, John Leguizamo, Alex Hassel, some other folks. Plot synopsis brought to you by IMDb is as follows. When a group of mercenaries attack the estate of a wealthy family, Santa Claus must step in to save the day and Christmas. First time watch, obviously. It's a brand new movie. Gentlemen, would you recommend people check this out? Ray and Deuce, how do you feel?
This holiday season in the theater, I would say sure, yeah, go check it out. You know, you got yourself a nice actiony, more action than horror. Let's be real. A genre film, action film based around Santa Claus. David Harbour is an excellent choice for Santa Claus. You'll probably have a decent time. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. Generally, sure, for this year.
Right on. Juice, what about you?
Yeah, I'd say it's a medium recommend. Definitely not a family watch, but if you're just looking for just kind of a fun time with a Christmas film in the theaters, you want to go with some buddies or not with children, then yeah, you know, it's fun enough. Bob, would you recommend people check it out?
Yeah, this is a recommend from me. It's good fun, I think. Got some comedy, got some gore, got some action. Definitely help get you in the holiday spirit. So yeah, check it out. It's fun shit. Sounds like a pretty decent recommendation from the Straight Chilling crew. Just get your asses out there and watch the fucking movie.
Very aggressive stance at the end there.
Get your fucking ass.
Get your asses.
Get your asses
fucking
out there.
theater, you pieces of shit.
Are
And,
you calling a
celebrate-
cootie queen, you lint liquor?
You
yourself a-
lickers.
Get yourself in the holiday spirit, you motherfuckers. Let's go ahead and spoil the shit out of this movie.
All right.
Spoiler warning.
Bob, we all saw this in the
Well.
theater together, and I didn't
did.
see you
Did.
writing a plot synopsis at the time. Do you have one?
Yeah, I got it right here,
All
sir.
right, give it to me.
I'm gonna give it to you.
Give it.
The movie opens up, and we find Santa drinking heavily at a bar in Bristol, England, lamenting the fact that kids have lost their Christmas spirit. He then walks to the roof and takes flight in his sleigh, puking on the bartender's head as he leaves. We meet the Lightstone family shortly thereafter, consisting of Jason, his estranged wife, Linda, and their daughter, Trudy. They travel to Jason's mother's house. Her name is Gertrude. She has a giant fucking mansion. She's super rich. Jason's sister, Alva, is also there with her wannabe action star boyfriend by the name of Morgan Steele. And their son, Bertrude, is also there. Jason gives Trudy a walkie-talkie so she can call Santa and tell him what she wants for Christmas, since he forgot to take her to the mall and see Santa. Santa enters the Lightstone house to deliver presents. The hired caterers then reveal themselves as being mercenaries led by a man they call Mr. Scrooge, who plan to rob Gertrude's vault. Santa fights off a mercenary whose gunfire scares off his reindeer. He then kills him and takes his radio, where he begins communicating with Trudy. Since she's on his nice list, he decides to rescue her from the mercenaries who are all on the naughty list. We found out Gertrude stole $300 million from her company, and that's what's in the vault. Scrooge wants it.
Oh my god.
Trudy runs off and hides in the attic where she keeps talking to Santa, and we find out Santa was a Viking warrior before becoming Santa Claus. Scrooge takes Santa hostage, who hates Christmas because his dad was laid off during the holiday season, which caused him to sneak into a house and steal some presents, scaring the elderly homeowner to death. So Santa then barely escapes through the chimney. Gertrude's security team, known as the Kill Squad, then arrives. Turns out they're also working for Scrooge and join the hunt for Santa. They successfully open the vault, which is empty. Jason Lightstone confesses he stole the money and planned to flee with his family. Santa finds a sledgehammer in the shed, brutally kills several bad guys. Trudy sets traps in the attic inspired by Home Alone. The remainder of the family is taken outside by Scrooge, where Jason shows him where he stashed the money. Santa ends up having a showdown with Scrooge at an old cabin. Scrooge gets the upper hand just before Santa grabs him, flies up the chimney, which rips Scrooge's body into shreds. Santa gets shot by a mercenary and dies, but is ultimately brought back to life by the family's Christmas spirit and belief in his jolly ass. The reindeer then return, and Santa flies off into the night to deliver presents with a renewed sense of Christmas cheer. Rolled in credits.
I'm having a hard time getting past the fact that you pronounce chimney like Israel Kamawike, the what a wonderful world.
Chimney.
Up the chimney.
Chimney top.
Chimney.
Well,
Chimney, boys.
Before we get too deep into this, Juice, I have a quick question for you. Did you by any chance slyly snap photos of me watching this movie, a la Becky?
I did not. I did not.
Oh,
I
I
should
thought you were
have. I
clever
should
enough.
have. No, I wish I
Yeah.
did.
Yeah, well, all right. I
Fuck.
thought for sure I had you pegged on that one, but next time
thought for
we were
sure I
all in the
pegged
theater
you.
together for this one.
Yeah, I
What's
know.
that?
I should have.
I thought for sure I pegged you real hard, but I
Oh,
guess
You
not.
know, it must have been
Mhm.
just a dream.
No, I didn't. But we shared some glances, which was fun. Like back in the day, when we used to watch movies
yeah.
together.
Yeah, it's one of
Remember
those
Friends?
nothing needs be said. Cracking
Yeah,
up
yeah.
faces. Yeah, that's a nice one.
But no, I
Um,
didn't snap any photos, unfortunately.
Well, it's damn shame Becky.
I
did
can't
their
always be
duty,
on.
but
I know.
Oh,
Anyway,
oh, poor
Most
guy.
of
what'd
the
you guys
time
think of
I'm
Violent
turned
Night?
on, but um, so one thing that I kind of like about this is the inclusion, or a movie finally kind of giving some people a little bit of what they want, of spoofing a little bit of Home Alone, of making these traps brutal and seeing people, fall victim to them in a kind of horrific type of way.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty smart, and actually something that they probably should have kind of upsold a little bit in the marketing, and maybe probably should have included a little bit more in the film, in my opinion.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, fine
Like,
line.
here's the thing.
Fine line.
Here's the thing. Like, yes, but also this movie, and this is both a credit and a disservice in my opinion. Like, but most people I think will find it to be a credit. This movie does everything in its power to reference pretty much any popular Christmas movie it can in its entire runtime.
Yeah.
So it is trying, it has those Home Alone moments, and they are relatively truncated, but they also has a fuck ton of Die Hard in its DNA. So much
Sure.
goddamn Die Hard.
Sure.
It's got like so many of these Christmas movies are like that have come out since we were kids are what's being sort of played off of here in the plot line. Everything from like even like the Santa Claus and shit. There's all like little things all over the place in this. And so I think they kind of like crammed a lot of things in there at once. And the fact that they kept it as cohesive as it is pretty impressive for having done that. So I don't think that they could have really like pushed more Home Alone, maybe in the marketing, but other than that, like in the film itself, I don't know that I would have leaned too heavily on any one reference, because this movie is like just chock full of references. I only just now realized that Beverly D'Angelo is the fucking matriarch of this fucking family.
Oh, you didn't realize that?
I didn't.
Yeah.
She looks so different, and I wasn't
Yeah.
paying close attention to the credits. So that was really shocking to me, because I don't know if I've ever seen her not play a very warm maternal figure.
Yeah.
Or
She's
well,
not-
in these
or at
later
least
days,
or at least have her classic blonde,
I think in these later days, it seems like she was like kind of like a harsh smoker, and her voice has gotten a lot rougher. And I've seen her in some kind of like, she was in some HBO show where she was this really harsh, no nonsense like agent or something. And so yeah.
Not to say she's bad at it. No, don't get me wrong. I just like it's such a departure from what I recognize her to be, and especially what I feel like having her in this film is in itself kind of referential, like because she is
for sure
like
Oh,
such
yeah.
a Christmas
Vacation.
fixture and just
Yeah.
vacation fixture in general.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, I just like those little things. They really stack up, and they either like hit you great or they start to get a little annoying, which is kind of where I landed.
It didn't bother me really, but I also something I read regarding trivia is there's apparently a bunch of references in this movie to Die Hard 2, which I've not seen. So those just went over my head.
Like the entire like the rescue Black Ops team that comes to rescue them, turning on them. That's entirely ripped out of Die Hard 2.
Spoilers.
Whoa.
I mean, it's
Leguizamo's in
it's
that
a movie
too,
older
right?
than us. So
Yeah. But yeah, that's the thing. I mean, you've got the walkie-talkie. That's definitely a big Die Hard thing. And I guess
and they have a security agent named Al who they unceremoniously kill. But like, he even kind of looks like oh fuck, I'm forgetting the actor's name, but we know Al from Die Hard as well.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I guess. Oh, go ahead, Bob. Go ahead.
I was just gonna like show a little more love to David Harbour being Santa Claus in this movie. I think like he's definitely like the standout in here amongst like pretty much all the big names and all the names that I didn't recognize. He's like a perfect cast for this. He's like big and hulking and imposing, and like you believe that he can like beat up on some of these other guys, but he's also like really good at selling the more like Christmas spirit, like endearing side of things, where he's like trying to help out this little girl, and like towards the end of the movie where like they believe in him and he's like super stoked on it and stuff. He can like sell both sides of it, as he does in Stranger Things. The character's not wildly different than him in Stranger Things, other than he's like a supernatural being, but
he's a proven character actor for this kind of role. Like it's
for sure. Yeah.
It's pretty incredible casting, and it kind of makes some of the other casting, not even casting decisions, just some of the other writing for other characters fall kind of short. It seemed to me like there was like, at least amongst the family, quite a bit of like an attempt at what they did in Krampus with the, like just like the uncomfortable thing. It's like Krampus meets Succession in terms of family dynamics, except like the acting to me, or at least really the writing, just isn't really there to me. It doesn't really. Everybody's just a little bit too shitty too often in ways that doesn't seem like they're being oblivious, or they're being oblivious to the point of like, you would have to put somebody like this in a mental institution. Like there's no reason that this person should like be in the middle of being held at gunpoint presenting his fucking film pitch to the matriarch of the family. That's fucking absurd. And like not in really a very funny way. It was groan worthy to me.
Let me be a little bit of a Grinch here. Okay. So I'm gonna even it out a scotch.
Oh boy.
I like David Harbour, but there's this kind of weird element to me about just kind of his career and these choices. Is they're just trying so hard, like throughout his like the movies he's been doing since the first season of Stranger Things came out, to make him this badass, and when the first season of Stranger Things came out, he was probably I don't know, 41, 42. It's been a while now. He's like getting in his late 40s now, creeping up on 50, and to me, none of the movies outside of Stranger Things, and he's just a regular cop in there. And in first season, kind of strung out and stuff. But other than him just being kind of a big guy, like him in the Hellboy, or even he's a Marvel character now. And even him in this is, to me, Santa Claus doesn't need to be this Viking badass. And the whole thing around David Harbour and his agency pushing this, like, before he just is too old, we gotta make him this iconic type of this era action star.
I want him to be.
I don't like fully buy into that, and it feels a little try hard at this point, because what I kind of wanted more from this film, I don't necessarily want Santa Claus to be this Viking badass. I kind of want some of the things like we saw with the chimney kill, where it's situational to Santa Claus. The whole scene of him like whooping everybody's ass with a hammer is kind of dumb and too much, and doesn't really fit into any idea of Christmas or Santa Claus. They have to give him this backstory of like, oh, I've got this hammer called Skull Crusher, so that David Harbour can be this action star. And I just don't buy that, and I'm tired of them kind of pushing that narrative, honestly.
I mean, that's fine, except like I'm perfectly fine with him playing what they're trying to position him as in the bulk of this movie and in a lot of those movies, which is the fucking John McClane or the Harrison Ford, the Indiana Jones quippy but capable guy who's like able to get out of tight scrapes and that sort of thing. They want him to be that guy, especially in this movie, like because they are directly ripping John McClane's character for him.
Yeah.
So like, yes, to that end, I feel like the Viking backstory was just like a little too much of a nerdgasm in the writing room, and doesn't actually help the writing. It actually makes really like anything. John McClane is a badass because he scrapes fucking by, and he does that through a lot of this movie, but then all of a sudden he gets this hammer and he's just like impenetrable. John McClane barely survives like hundreds of times, and that's the only claim to fame he really has, is being clever and quick on his feet, and that's it. Like that's what makes him so badass. So to give him like a warrior's background to suddenly be able to whoop wholesale ass, it undercuts that quite a bit to me.
A movie that does a little bit more what Juice is sort of saying he would like, where they ground the violence in things that are like exclusive to Santa Claus, I think like
Mhm.
Santa's sleigh actually does that a little bit
Yes.
better.
Hmm.
It's a super goofy movie, but like
Shouldn't it
he's
be?
not just like all of a sudden a Viking with a hammer and murdering people with a hammer.
Yeah,
And yeah,
well,
it should
Although
be
they
goofy.
they do
Yeah.
add shit to that to make but like I don't know, like I don't have a big problem with adding like Nordic lore because Santa Claus has
That's
ties. Like I
fine.
understand
Yeah,
that there is like stuff that could be additive. I just feel like from a character arc perspective, it undercuts him, and that's really the issue for me.
Yeah.
I do too. And well, and also it just takes some of the kind of creativity out of this film,
Yeah,
because
sure.
even the fight scene where he's fighting somebody and he's using, the bag and shit keeps coming out of it. That's fine. If you want to pull something
like
out of
that, yeah.
and it kind of kills
Yeah.
him. And then when he sucks the dude up to the chimney and
And-
his fucking body explodes, that's
I
great.
even
That's
like-
creative.
That was
It's
the best
just-
kill by far. I think we can agree on that, right?
Yeah, and I would say so.
There was a couple more instances I think that do deliver on what you're asking for. One that it's a little loose
I
where he's
agree.
eating the candy cane and gets it real sharp and stabs people with it.
I think
But the-
that's satisfying for me as
Yeah.
a child who definitely had that fantasy
Right.
in the backseat of my
That's
parents'
fine,
car with
yeah.
a fucking candy
I
cane.
think another kill that's like fucking fantastic is where he's beating up on that dude in the billiard room and like stabs him in the eye with the star that's attached to a string
forgot
of
about
lights and he
that
gets
one. I agree with that one.
electrocuted.
That's
I was
pretty
gonna
bring
good,
that
yeah.
up,
Okay,
Fucking
okay,
great, yeah.
okay. Yeah.
I think he does that too, but it does sort of like the hammer aspect and all these all these kills that don't involve that are kind of like happenstance or whatever.
Mhm.
They don't deliver on that, and it just sort of like it creates a mixed bag. I guess that's kind of like the core of what I didn't love about the movie is that it's a little scatterbrained.
Yeah.
It definitely knows what it wants, but it kind of wants it all, and so it's forced to spread itself a little thin.
Yeah, every kind of like tropey thing that they do feels kind of shallow because you're right. They want the kind of feel good Christmas story to at the
Yeah.
end where the family learns something, they come together, and the mom and dad, and the kids' Christmas wish comes together. They want the badass, die
total
hard kind of
whiplash
stuff. Yeah, yeah, and
insane.
exactly, but they also want to ride the kind of comedy line too, which
Mhm.
I agree with your previous statements of the family felt, which the sister, she's the one who is in, that actress is the one who's in Righteous Gemstones, right?
Yeah, she
And
is.
Oh
yeah.
yeah, I knew I
she's-
recognized her.
She's one of the funniest fucking characters, and in this I just felt like she was
Edie-
completely
Edie Patterson is her name.
I felt like she was very underutilized here, and the comedy
was,
just did
yeah.
not land much for me.
She
Mhm.
I think
Yeah.
she starts off like when she's introduced, you get that like classic Edie Patterson, like really like sharp and like dry wit. She calls her brother like little dick or something. I don't know. But like she
Oh yeah,
she
that's
is-
sharp wit.
Well,
Passes for sharp wit
she
around
does
here
better
for
than
sure.
that. She does.
Just
Yeah,
went
that's a sharp
right
wit.
into the straight chilling crew. We're
yes,
This-
come with
this
me.
bra-
we're so
fucking hilarious.
clever.
She is fucking hilarious though, but yeah, she's very underutilized. I think the vast majority of the family is underutilized, with the exception of the little girl Trudy. I think she does a pretty damn good
Yeah,
job, and of
she
course she
does.
gets the most screen time because she has to.
And she's like absolutely the fucking whoever the kid from the Santa Claus is of this movie. Like there's
Yeah,
they try and make the emotional resonance there. Her like dropping like the fake snow through the fence or whatever, like that
Oh,
shit is
yeah.
just it's a little bit corny, and then you add on top of that like like it immediately is followed by grotesque violence, and it's just that's what I'm talking. Like the tonal whiplash really bothered me. Where I'm like, okay, we're going from a moment in fucking Miracle on 34th Street to a moment in Die Hard, like with a smash cut, and it should be funnier that way, but it's not. Like to me, it just didn't like. It seems funny to talk about, but in practice, it just sort of seems like, oh, okay. So now we're shoving a dude down an icicle. Okay. Like it happens a number of times where I was like, man, that is wildly different than the last scene. Like somebody's scrotum gets shot or something at some point, and it's like immediately after like some sweet, kind moment between the characters that we're supposed to care about. I don't know, man. It just
it's hard to blend.
I wish it would
these
just kind of pick a lane
genres.
a little bit.
Yeah, me too. I agree. It does. It feels like it picks like 3 or 4, but
Mhm.
they're all kind of shallow, and they really just serve to be
They're
things to pull
referential.
tropes from. Yeah, they're just like, okay,
this is
like,
this is
pull
a
this
few
trope, or pull this
shades
trope.
away from being. This is a few shades of sincerity away from being like a scary movie of Christmas movies. Like it really is.
Yeah.
If you were to remove any genuine attempts at affection between the characters, it could pass as just straight like parody / homage. Instead, it's sort of like homage of too many different things that we all kind of like coalesce, and they fall under the banner of Christmas, so I understand why, but it just doesn't really like the pieces don't quite fit together in a lot of cases for me. But overall, I respect the attempt to, though. I do think that like it's worthy, like a worthy attempt to make with a movie like this. This is the movie that you would want to do that in. You don't want to do that in like fucking, I don't know, a movie that like is actively like, you don't, if you pressed harder on the emotional gas, it would absolutely fall the fuck apart. It has to be silly enough, and it has trouble staying on that line, but I appreciate them trying to walk it, I guess.
Yeah.
Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, the little girl brings it home for sure. Unfortunately, the rest of the family doesn't, specifically her mom and dad. Like, I don't really buy their relationship much. They just don't. The characters feel kind of cardboard largely, outside of Trudy and Santa Claus. Even, and I hate to say this, even John Leguizamo, like I feel like he's
Yeah, I
totally
know. I was
phoning it
looking
in.
forward to that.
Yeah.
You when you said that to me after the show, I was like, damn, dude, you kind of nailed it, because like I was really looking forward to seeing him
Yeah,
in a
I
bit
like
like
him
in a
a lot.
Hans Gruber role essentially.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it like they really kind of oversell his backstory, and he undersells his performance, in my opinion.
He does. Like he's
Yeah.
bored. Like he doesn't want to be there or something. And I
That's a
just
shame, because I
saw him
love
in the
he's so
menu.
great in the Menu. He's so
Right,
great
yeah,
in the Menu.
exactly.
I haven't
yeah.
seen it yet. But yeah, and well, I feel like they set the pieces up pretty well, you know, of this family, and they're rich, and this guy wants to get out, but he can't just walk away. He's like a little greedy, and so it gives him a character flaw, and like maybe something he could overcome, and like it kind of does. But like I just, the only one who did feel genuine, who I was like totally believing, was the kid. Everything else felt like
I believed her
don't
as
know,
much as
like
I
a
would any
gag or
Christmas movie,
something. Yeah.
Like, so I kind of grade her performance on a scale, because A, she's a child, so
Sure,
there's
yeah.
that. But also she's a child in a Christmas film, which, you know, the range of capability is wide, but the average is very low on terms of capability there. And she does a pretty capable job, I think. So yeah, I think it sells it forward enough. I agree though about the parents in particular. Like the parents, they really do try to make something happen. There's a story arc there that
Mhm.
on some level kind of makes sense, except for the part where the dude just like steals $300 million and he gets basically no comeuppance. I don't know. Like it seemed like, to me, I saw his turn. Like, I don't know about you guys. I feel like you probably saw his secret coming on some
Yeah.
level.
Mhm.
But I also thought that it was going to be like I didn't think that he was going to end up with the heartwarming family moment too. I thought he was going to be written out as
that
well.
did
And
feel weird.
it felt really weird, because this whole movie is like positioning itself as like, boy, aren't rich people terrible? The whole villain versus hero arc is about like the haves and the have-nots, and then sort of the haves kind of don't lose at all.
Yeah, even in the
Yeah,
end when
they're
they're like
fine.
kind of burning some of the money, but then she's like, "Oh, we
Yeah.
just burned $100,000." It's like it's $300 million,
Yeah, I
And
think
it's
you're
stolen
fine.
money. That
And
they're
it
still
also-
rich
Yes.
without it.
and then
Yeah.
it also doesn't do anything real. Like, oh, let's keep Santa Claus like warm. I don't know. It was just pretty
Yeah,
weak
exactly.
kind of a
And also,
cop-out.
yeah, and which also underlines the, I think, not great decision to make Santa straight up immortal. Like, I don't know. I'm not
Yeah.
a huge fan of that in this movie, just because like it's so much about him being an underdog, and so kind of fucks that up. Like, if
Mhm.
all it takes is a
Well,
kid's
I
tears.
kind of like that he doesn't know. Even him being like, I don't actually
yeah, that
know
does
how this
kind of help.
works. So it's like if he's never been attacked before, you know.
Oh, he
Yeah.
has though, hasn't he? Didn't they? I thought they said he's like I've. Oh wait, you know what? I'm confusing it with Fat Man. They said it in that movie.
That's
Which is why I
fantastic.
do want to bring that up, because there's a similar story arc in that, but to some extent.
Mr.
And
Fatman.
he's like, you think you're the first one to come after me? And it's like, okay, that's okay, awesome. No wonder he's proficient with weaponry or whatever.
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah.
but we don't. The only thing we get from him is like a backstory of war and death or whatever, which sort of like, I guess, gives him a flaw to overcome, which is, oh, I'm not actually a good guy or whatever. But it's not really that big.
It
doesn't tie into
not,
his
especially because he's
restoration,
been
any of
Santa
that stuff.
Claus for
Yeah,
hundreds
you might
of
have paid your
years.
debt,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think he's. Yeah, I don't know.
I did like that. There's like a little bit of subtlety when we first see him like delivering presents to houses and stuff, and he like walks over to the cookie plate and he picks it up like full pinky out, and he like very delicately takes a bite, and he's
Yeah.
like, like
That's
what
pretty
a fine
good.
Yeah,
year.
they put kind of
Like,
his
yeah.
best moments in the trailer, unfortunately.
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah,
I hated though. I will say and this is where it comes down to the writing for me. Like the writing with like some of the gags just really fell flat for me. Like Comet shitting on the roof. Oh, you're so unprofessional. Like, oh,
Yeah,
that doesn't.
yeah, it's not.
That
great.
definitely seems
It's
like Sonic the Hedgehog Part 2 writing, and
Yeah.
that makes sense with this
part
director.
deuce. I like that he like touches his nose and gives like a little wink, to fly up the chimney. I think that's
Yeah.
a nice little classic Santa touch,
Yeah, you don't see that trope that often anymore, which is I did like
Yeah.
that too. That's why that took me also the chimney kill, like that helped sell it also, is how like
Totally,
this is like
yeah.
a classic Santa thing that
Mhm.
to my knowledge has been very little corrupted by the many
Mm.
many glut of corrupted Santa movies, except for maybe Christmas Evil is the only one that comes to mind, and that's not a plot point, it's just a thing that happens. So
Mhm.
I liked it.
Mhm. Yeah.
I also loved the segment in the movie where John Leguizamo yells, "Christmas dies tonight." Fucking everybody, well, not everybody. We started laughing. They're like, "Oh my god, we can't escape this fucking
Dude.
line."
I can.
Oh, Lord.
It's you know what, that makes a real like 6 degrees of Righteous Gemstones though, because between this movie with
Yeah, good
the
call.
sister Fat Man with Goggins, and then fucking
Dan-
that
Danny
line
McBride.
with Danny McBride
Good call, yeah.
having pinned it.
Yeah.
There you go.
God.
You got the Righteous Gemstones all the way. All we need is a Goodman ref in this one.
That's all we need.
Well, Fat
That's
Man
what we need in
Goodman,
every film.
it's close enough, I guess.
Dude, this
Um,
would have been a great role for Goodman back in his youth.
Yeah, you're right.
Oh, dude.
That
You're
would have been
right.
great. Pulling
Just
like
every-
oh brother, where art thou? Just
Are you
big
thinking
hulking.
villain? Leguizamo
No, as
or
Santa Claus.
Santa?
As
Okay,
Santa,
okay.
as
For
Santa.
some reason I got it mixed up.
No,
Okay.
no, no.
It's all about the money, boy.
Dude, we gotta
Perfect.
cover that one day.
Oh, brother,
Oh,
word.
Famous-
brother, dude. Oh my
As
God.
a
Iconic horror
classic,
movie that it
Maybe
is.
we do it as a classic.
Maybe we
I don't
could
know.
do it as a classic.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
God,
good.
yes, come with me.
I mean, I watched it on the plane on the way home. It's so good. Damn.
It's a great fucking movie. Anyway, that's not what
Yeah.
we're talking about.
Yeah. that's
Um,
not what we're talking about.
I want to see
Christmas.
Goodman in everything. Goodman could have played Leguizamo's character. Sure, could have.
It would have been
Yeah,
better.
He can do
I
all.
think.
He
He
can do
can.
anything. He
He's
can
the real
sell a
Santa.
villain on Community. He can do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the
Uh,
ponytail.
The little kid, not like the little girl, but like the teenage boy who's like a fucking YouTube personality or whatever.
Mhm.
But yeah, they call him Bert. His full name is Bertrude, which I think is hilarious because they named him after
Gertrude. Yeah.
his grandma Gertrude. Yeah, because his mother is just like pandering because she wants to inherit all the fucking money and stuff. That kid though is just like such a baseline like annoying YouTube personality. Like he doesn't
Yeah.
really add hardly anything to the movie at
It's
all.
absolutely
No.
clear to me that they saw Knives Out and saw the
Yeah.
Nazi youth in the bathroom and said, "Let's put him in our movie," except make him just a YouTuber and
Yeah.
politics.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Low hanging fruit. They didn't really.
It
do
was.
much.
Yeah.
Even the guy,
He
that
did fine,
model
but
guy or whatever. It just
Dude, he was
Yeah.
the worst to me because it's
Oh yeah.
both referential to the style they're somewhat parodying, and it's also
Yeah.
just like very tin-eared to me. It just didn't hit.
Mm.
It didn't
Yeah.
land very well. I don't think that the writing is very good in this movie, and I feel like the directing is also not very good in this movie, and that's really the issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
Everybody does capable enough, but like I don't
That's
think
the
that they
thing,
were
yeah.
directed appropriately. is my
this
feeling.
movie, it did have some like
I'm
solid
a professional.
highs, but it just there were a lot of lulls that were there where
Mhm.
it was like sometimes, like you said, you knew the marks they were trying to hit, but they just like whiffed on them, and you're like, ooh,
this Randy, you made like a reference to Sonic the Hedgehog or some shit.
Yeah.
This was apparently written by the team responsible for Sonic the Hedgehog.
That's
There you
why I brought
go.
that up.
Oh, you knew
Oh.
that already.
Yes.
I'll shut the fuck up. All right.
I know it's shocking when I know a thing, but
Wow. Randy did some
Came
research.
prepared.
I know, I looked into it.
Oh.
Did you probably already do know this, but this is the same production company that put out Nobody, as well as Kate and Bullet Train most recently, which everybody loved that, apparently, with
that I
Brad
didn't
Pitt.
know.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
So action heavy.
Are you being sarcastic?
Comedic
for-
action.
Oh, people
stuff.
really did like Bullet Train? Okay.
Yeah.
No, I've heard
yeah.
mixed reviews, but I
Yeah.
don't know
Oh,
if
okay.
that's
Gotcha.
representative or not.
People love Nobody too, which I think is
Yeah, I'm.
not very
Interest-
good, to be honest.
Oh, really? I would watch more Odenkirk do just about anything at this
I've
point.
still
I
never
love
seen
Odenkirk.
Nobody.
But
Yeah.
I don't like that shit. It's not for me.
Okay. Well, fair enough.
Oh, wait, Mr. Nobody?
No, that's a show, and that's a whole
Yeah,
different
okay.
just no.
Wait, is that
nobody.
the one with Jared in it?
Jared?
thing. Jared from
From
Subway.
30 Seconds to Mars? What's that guy's
Oh
name?
no, that's
No,
that's I know
You
what you're
don't.
talking about. That's a whole
Yeah.
different movie too, and that's
Okay.
a trippy fucking.
You know,
movie.
There's a lot of nobodies.
There is.
My boy
I think that
Jared.
also might be
He's in
called
prison.
Mr. Nobody as well. It's called something Nobody. Yeah.
Yeah, what is
It's not.
okay, whatever.
I don't know.
That's a
Okay,
whole
so
other
there's a
thing.
lot
We
of
should talk
other
about that sometime.
nobodies. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Jared,
like,
the pedo.
ultimately, yeah, Jesus Christ, that true crime doc is gonna shit
Oh,
the bed.
God.
Are they doing a Jared Leto?
I'm-
No,
No, no, no,
I was
no.
talking about Jared from
Subway, and
the
you know it's
pedo.
coming. If they're doing a Miss Cleo documentary, you know they're
Oh my
doing that
god,
one
you're
soon.
blowing my mind right now. A Miss Cleo doc.
Did you
Dude,
not know
how
that?
did
Yeah,
you
it
know
was
the
pretty
title's
recently
gonna
announced, I
be
think.
some terrible spinoff of a footlong or some shit? Since
Oh my god.
5 years for a foot long.
Oh my god.
6 inches
Jesus
to
Christ.
freedom.
Ah,
Fucking
fucking
hell,
hate it.
dude.
oh, Jesus, I hate that.
Fucked up.
Welcome to 400, boys.
Christmas dies tonight.
Oh man, the wheels are really coming off on
Add it to the
401.
supercut.
Oh my god. No, but I forgot what we were even talking about.
I know.
What is this? Violent Night? Who are we? What is this?
That was a little
Where
bit
am
of
I?
a tangent there.
Where am
Bob.
I? Yeah.
I don't know. I feel
Keeping the
Keeping the beat.
I am finding this movie a little difficult to talk about because it is pretty thin and a lot is superficial.
Yeah.
You know, it's fun. Like in the theater,
So-
it's a pretty fun watch. It's not something I feel like I want to watch every Christmas, but
That's
like
exactly right.
with
I'd rewatch
us
it,
in
though.
there, us watching it, you know, having some pea corn, some snacks.
Mm.
It was pretty fun enough. You know, we rolled our eyes at the spots that were low. We laughed at the spots that were ridiculous, and it served its purpose in that way.
So-
And other people
so-
in the audience were laughing more than us.
Sure,
So like
yeah.
Yeah.
obviously it might just be an us thing. So
Uh-huh.
I do something that they did do with the Home Alone style booby traps set up in the attic by the little girl. I really enjoyed like the mercenaries like walking up and they just see like a tiny little nail on a ladder, and like the booby traps are very obvious and they look very silly, and you're like, this fucking dumb kid doesn't know what they're doing. I'm gonna be fine. I'm an adult. I know what the fuck's going on. And they just fucking get worked over time and time again because they underestimate this little girl. And like that is hilarious. That's more funny than the actual like gore and shit. It's just they like continuously underestimate her.
that is
very Home
exactly
Alone
Home
dude.
Alone.
Home
Yeah,
Alone
I mean it
dudes,
is. Yeah.
Specific,
Yeah.
yeah.
Fucking kids,
And
man.
you know, like it's in the right spirit of things. I like, to me it was like this movie at times lends like it applies different levels of reasonability to anything that's happening on screen. Sometimes things are just
Yeah,
chalked
yeah.
up to Christmas magic. That's fine, whatever. But with non-Santa scenes, the ratio of realism to non-realism fluctuates quite wildly, and that's one of the scenes where it's like suddenly you're in Home Alone, other times you're in fucking I don't know, Bedford Falls or some shit. It just like I can't quite figure it out, you know? And I think that ultimately that's the big drag, but I agree with Justin and everything you just said, which is that, you know, there's definitely worse Christmas movies out there. There's worse like big budget Christmas movies and low budget Christmas movies to go to. I think that in terms of like something you go see at a theater to celebrate Christmas with like
Mhm.
a family of a certain age and above, this is perfectly palatable. Like I don't have like all the negative things I've said about it are just sort of like they're just kind of hanging on
Critiquing the
there.
movie. Yeah,
You-
we're talking about the whole thing.
They're kind of drags, but they're ultimately like I didn't have a bad time watching this movie, and I just don't think
Yeah.
that I'll strive to see it too often ever again.
You know what? This thought just popped into my mind. I actually think this probably would have been a pretty fun addition to kind of pull some of these things together, maybe a little bit. If they had
Rework it.
casted somebody, I don't know. Let's just say I don't think necessarily this will work. Let's just say Nick Cage as a security guard, okay? And they cut some of the family portions out and they cut the idea of like Santa Claus being this badass or whatever. It's just Santa Claus. And what it essentially comes up is this kind of like team up buddy kind of movie where it's essentially Kevin McAllister, Santa Claus, and John McClane, you know, all doing their own little things to get through this house or whatever. So if like the security guard was doing the more kind of like John McClane things, like sneaking around, he wants to be the badass security guard, and Santa Claus is just kind of going around like doing the Santa Claus things, and then he does the magic shit, and then you got the kid who's like setting the booby traps and stuff. I don't know, that could have helped kind of not put so much on David Harbour and like the ridiculousness of this badass Santa Claus. And
I don't want a tag team situation
No?
personally.
Okay.
Nah,
Yeah.
not really.
I see where you're going, but ultimately I think this movie's kind of bloated in its referential nature.
It'd be
and
more
Yeah.
as it is.
referential.
It
Yeah.
would have to trim a lot of stuff,
well,
which
actually,
it could.
really, I think it would be
could, but-
close to the same element where, you know, like that way they could put more of the humor onto the kid and David Harbour, and then some of the like situational humor but not jokes come from the security guard trying to like be this badass, and then you could easily just cut David Harbour being a badass and then cut some of the like family shit. I don't know, but just
There's a million
spitballing
ways
here.
you could crack this nut. I just ultimately think that it's that if they're still trying to hit as many check marks as they're trying to hit, it's going to be a similar level mess unless they really take a hacksaw to the whole thing. I really think that it could have benefited from being either way more silly, way the fuck more silly,
Mhm.
or
Yes.
just trimming back on what it's trying to do and sort of like focusing on a couple of strong references. Like if your goal is to make, you know, a definitive this is Die Hard but definitely a Christmas movie, so nobody's ever gonna fucking argue about it ever again,
Mhm.
I would respect that impulse, by the way. But then you just kind of like stick to that and you keep Santa as both sort of this magical figure but also the everyman, and they're kind of like they work towards that, but they ultimately kind of undercut it with his Norse mythology and all that stuff, and the ultimate survival based on non-understood magical shit. So like if you could have like just really committed to that character role and put David Harbour in that role that you hired him to do, then I think that's what helps this movie out more than anything else.
When we first see him in the movie, he is legit Billy Bob Thornton as Bad Santa drinking at a bar, talking shit.
Yeah,
and then by the end of the movie, he is fucking Thor with a hammer, is what he is. So there is kind of a weird evolution to his character there. I buy it well enough, though. It could have been done better. I
they
think
ramp it up, but
Bad Santa, Billy Bob shit is more interesting, of course. But I think ultimately, if Leguizamo would have like amped up a little bit more and like kind of really leaned in, and like if maybe they had done a little more like comedy, so like made it a little funnier, and then like nailed the family, like the heart, the core of the movie with like the mom and dad. Maybe they actually have to, I don't know, sacrifice fucking anything to save their daughter. You know, like there's just nothing really there other than like the dad's, man, I sure do miss my family because I'm, you know, a self-centered asshole. And then he does nothing and then gets his family back at the end of the movie. And that's about it.
Exactly.
Other than he believes in Santa, I guess. But
the worst people in this movie are the exact same terrible people at the end, and they get the benefit of, you know, the magic of Christmas saving their asses, which granted, none of them should have been killed like they were going to be. They just had to create like worse people to make them being terrible people seem not so bad. But it's not satisfying as an arc. They needed to have a comeuppance for that family, for the matriarch, and for everybody at least at least everybody besides the central family. If they're going to focus on that family being like ultimately good and your pivot point, your everyman, like sort of not everyman, but like your emotional core, then you do that and you give comeuppance to the Scrooges in the movie and to the murderers in the movie and bring those people up top, elevate those people. They kind of tried to have too much they tried to elevate too many people.
We're pretty much doing our wrap up here.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and
Yeah,
roll.
Had to land the
Absolutely.
plane.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's land this plane. Let's rate this movie out of 5. Randy, you were kind of starting already. Why don't you wrap up your
Yeah.
thoughts?
I'm just gonna wrap it up. I think that ultimately this is a medium movie for me that is I totally see the appeal. I think that a lot of people really love this. And like if I wasn't, in this death trap of a podcast being forced to critique it horribly, then maybe I would be more forgiving towards it. But ultimately I have to analyze its flaws, and I think there's quite a few of them that maybe don't come across without thinking about it a little bit more. So like to me, I think I'm gonna give it a 2.5, just right down the middle for me. I don't see a lot in this movie that I couldn't see elsewhere done better, because they commit to what they're trying to do. But I do think that they commit to trying to do all of those things, which is admirable. They try to commit to too much and they suffer for it, but damn, they are committed. So credit and ding at the same time.
Right on. 2.5 from Randy. Juice, what about you?
Yeah, I'm feeling about that too. I really wish they would have ramped up the kind of comedy aspect, especially with the family, to give them something to do and make them more memorable. And then tone down a little bit of the David Harbour kind of badassery. I don't know. I'm kind of tired of that being pushed onto me, that David Harbour's this older yet dad
targeted
bod
specifically
badass.
to
I
you.
don't. It's just I don't know. They need to stop pushing that and let this dude do some other. He can be quite endearing. He doesn't need to be this Viking warrior. He's getting kind of old. So I just kind of tone that down a little bit. It makes a lot of references. Some of them land really well, some of them fall kind of flat. I think it's trying to do a lot, and so it's everything's just kind of generally shallow and like doesn't have time to like really hit home in all the ways it needs to. So yeah, I actually think that's pretty reasonable and about how I was feeling. So I'm going to give it a 2.5 as well. Robert, how you feeling? Violent
Bring
Night.
it home, Bob. Is it consensus?
No, it's not quite a consensus. It's very, very,
always that
very
outlier.
See, I think I like this movie a little bit
Just
more than
conform,
y'all.
Bob.
Not,
Okay,
not,
just
not by much.
All the cool kids know that it's a 2.5. It's a shame you don't want to
Oh
join.
my god!
come on.
The way to go.
I love
Smoke
seeing
the
my girl.
cigarette, Bob.
Say
You
2.5.
drink this-
Oh
Say it.
my
Say it now.
god! I love seeing my girl Beverly D up in this movie. Christmas Vacation, all time fave. It's weird seeing her be so mean though. It kind of like threw me for a loop a little bit. My boy Johnny L totally phoning it in. I don't know what's going on, Luigi, but you gotta amp your game up a little bit here. Trudy,
He saved it for the
little
menu,
girl,
and that was a smart move.
yeah. The little girl killed it. Her parents not so much. Alva, she's funny but we don't get like but a dash of her, but she's pretty fucking funny in it. David Harbour does a great job, I think, with what he's given. There's a lot of gore. Of course, the like chimney slaughter at the end is the most memorable. The star in the eye, fucking great. The booby traps in the attic, and of course the beatdown in the shed is all good shit. There's some decent humor. I thought opening the movie with him puking on somebody's head from his sleigh was hilarious. That was a great way to start the movie. Of course, Christmas Dying Tonight, hilarious.
Yeah.
The heart of the movie just doesn't land. The villain is kind of weak, but it's relatively inoffensive though. You can throw it on and have a decent little time with it, and that's really all it needs to be at the end of the day. I think there's more to enjoy than not to enjoy, really. So I'm going to go a little bit higher than y'all with a 3 out of 5.
It's Alien all over again. Alien all over again.
That's going to put our aggregate at a 2.6. Let's jump into the Rotten Tomatoes segment and see what the critics and users think about Violent Night.
Certified fresh to death.
All right, ladies and germs. What?
I was just gonna say we're just an old married couple at this point, huh, Bob?
We are. We really are.
Shut
You,
up.
you spend
Henry.
too much money on blues.
Look,
Suck my ass.
look, we all
Just
we
like a
all
married
heard
couple.
we all heard every minute of the arguing that happened on the last episode, as well as the behind the scenes footage of you guys
Thank you
arguing
for
deep
that,
into the
Randers.
night in the DVD room, in the Blu-ray room. Buddy,
We need more of that
Yeah.
behind the scenes.
I don't think anybody would ever want to take that much footage behind the scenes on that discussion.
Booty.
Here's the Rotten Tomatoes segment in which I'm going to have these gentlemen guess within the best of their abilities what the aggregate positive score is for Violent Night, both critics and user style. We're going to start critic style. Bob, we'll start with you. There's a 171 critic reviews. What do you think that those critic reviews aggregated positively? Out of 100%, 0 to 100. Let's go.
I think it's going to be mostly positive. Nothing too super high, but I'll take a 73, please.
73 percentile, an odd number. Juice, where are you going to go with this one?
73. Yeah, I think it's gonna be generally positive. That might be a little too high though for the critics. So I'll drop it. I'll give me the 69, Randy.
69, dudes!
Thank you.
Well, this is unfucking precedented. We have a dead center tie.
Dude, I wasn't even
shit.
playing it at this time.
73% is like, I'm sorry, 71%. Excuse me.
Okay,
Sorry,
I was
Bob.
like, that's what
71%.
I was like,
It
I
wouldn't
want
be, it
that.
wouldn't be
Yeah, I
my
was like,
segment if
no.
it didn't get fucked up somehow.
Holy shit.
Yeah, no.
damn.
71% dead center of both your
Hell
scores.
yeah.
So I guess we get a hell yes.
Hell yeah.
Skeet.
Maybe if we say hell's yeet. How about that?
Let's not game out the hell
No.
situation.
No.
Juice, we're going to start you off with the audience score. There's 1,000 plus verified ratings from the audience. Where do you think the audience lands on this one?
I think this one's gonna be higher. Well, 71. I think it's gonna be close. But I will take my score higher and I will say 75. I think a lot of people dug on this.
All right, 75. Bob, how about you?
Yeah, I think it probably is going to be higher than the critics. Juicy said 75.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go 77.
77. Okay, interesting. Bob, congratulations. This is actually 88% positive.
I knew it was gonna be high.
A
It's
Damn.
a
hot
good
11
year.
points
That's
off.
so high. Damn.
Yeah, that's pretty high for my taste, but you know, the audience wants what they want.
We're
Here's
just
what the critics
snobs.
consensus. Yeah, that's absolutely true. Here's what the critics consensus has to say. Violent Night isn't as wildly entertainment as its concept might suggest, but for those seeking harder-edged holiday fare, it may be a whole lot of fun.
Whoa.
wow. Ho, holy
Wow.
shit.
Okay. Well,
We got the ho package.
mhm.
Spider-Man is swinging into theaters. Audience says, shouts out to the jerk store. Audience says it could have taken its cool concept even further, but Violent Night is still a funny, gory, good time. And David Harbour is a terrific Santa you won't want to mess with. Unless you're a reindeer, I guess. I don't know.
Sure.
Yeah.
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 Let's read a negative review and see how hilariously on point or off point it is. 112 minutes of your life rather than a day, which is a small gift. What does that mean?
Aw.
That is nonsense.
What? Maybe context is required for that one. Let's go to another one. It's like attending a party where no two guests are on sufficiently good terms to manage even 20 minutes of civilized conversation. Perfect for Christmas Day, then, I hear you say. Too cynical.
Oh my god, this is
Okay.
terrible.
Yeah, these are
These
bad.
bad
Who's
You guys,
writing these?
this is a Santa Claus punching
We should
people
write
movie.
our own reviews.
No, we first of all, the obvious, but second of all, like no.
You know what
No,
we should do?
You know what we should do is like it's like nails on a fucking chalkboard. We say that shit all the time, and it ends up being giant
You
commitments
know what we should do?
that we
Can
do.
you tell we're
half-capably.
coming off of 2 huge projects at the
Yeah. We're all
It's like we
exhausted.
all took a collective shit for like 6 months trying to get all this out. Here's
Somehow we're
one
still
more and
full of
hope
it.
that it makes some kind of sense. For all its devil-may-care mishmash of tropes and bludgeoning mayhem, Workola's Jape is not quite up to scratch as a future Christmas nasty classic. I think that's actually pretty fair for my tastes.
Sure, I guess.
Not funny,
The-
but
These are
it
terrible.
might
We
be
could write
appropriate.
better.
Yeah,
Under
we're
the
done.
moniker of Hugh Janus, the
Yeah.
movie reviewer.
Let's get to that in a moment. Let's call this
Yeah.
Rotten Tomatoes segment closed.
My boy Janus.
Close. He really knows movies. There's really hardly any trivia. Most of it we already talked about.
Dude, I'll
So we
be
can-
Lou Sanus.
Oh my.
Lou S. Anus.
My boy Lou. L Sanus.
Oh my god.
Oh fuck.
I'm gonna write
Oh, you made an
reviews
anus joke. Bob won't be able to host for like 10 minutes.
Oh shit. It's never not funny. Not much.
Had
Not
it
much
for the
true
super
trivia.
cut, Bob. 500. Here we go.
We're already playing that. Holy shit.
God damn.
Let's
you
go
know
and
what we
talk
should
about.
do?
We should talk about Cooter.
Talk about Cooter of the Week.
Yeah.
Straight chillin'.
Cooter of the
What about like Ty Sanus? Ty Sanus?
Nope.
Just
Come on,
watch
Bob.
Cooter and what
Cooter's character type and a straight chillin' exclusive. Cooter must hit 3 of these 5 points to be considered Cooter, but we want the Cooter with the most points. The 5 points of
IT anus.
Cooterdom are my boy
Tidy anus.
IT Anus.
Oh, shit.
The 5 points of Cooterdom are sexual deviance, manipulation, smug arrogance. There goes the hat.
Oh shit.
Overall looking attire and overall
goes.
patheticness. Boys, who is our Cooter of the week?
It's a tough call. There's a lot of like red shirts in this that they kind of position as fucking cootery. We didn't even mention the person we are told outright is a sociopath who wants to like I don't even know what his deal was. He just wanted to kill people.
Talking about Scrooge?
That's literally it. No, I'm not talking about Leguizamo. I'm
his
talking
name's
about like
Krampus.
the white
I think.
dude.
Oh
Yes.
yeah. No, didn't they give him like a really good like gingerbread or peanut butter
Yeah.
or some shit?
It doesn't
I don't
matter.
know. I think it was
That
Krampus,
guy.
but it doesn't matter
Yeah,
because
I
he's
gotcha.
he like they try and make him stand out, and he just kind of doesn't.
Nah, that dude felt
But
pretty
he, like,
flat. He was
Speaking, like
he
it's
seemed
tough for
to-
me to even like. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say he seemed to get like really excited about hurting people. That was
Yeah.
That's all he was there to do is be like,
yeah.
oh, you're the sociopath. But it was Leguizamo who's like, let's nut crack somebody's ball sack. And that was
Yeah.
probably the
giant
biggest threat.
nutcracker. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was weird.
That was
that
That was
weird.
weird.
I don't know.
Uh,
We don't know much about most of these people, really.
Yeah.
So it might be
There's
kind of
too
hard
many
to pick one,
characters
to be
to
honest.
like really. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, maybe we
Definitely.
could pick the guy who is the actor who's in the family because he's pretty pathetic.
He's definitely
Um,
pathetic.
He's pathetic. He bails on everybody else. And which, you know,
Cowardly.
but also he's very manipulative. He's obviously like sucking up to get this woman's money.
Yeah, we know that
um,
because they tell us like everything.
Oh, sure. Yeah, it's not very subtle. Also, he's just kind of very arrogant. I would say he's very arrogant because he's like gifting the gift that he gives is
Sure.
his screenplay or some bullshit.
Yeah.
So I think that hits 3 on Cooter Light, and he's wearing like
Yeah.
some kind of like crazy blue. Was it a blue leisure suit? It wasn't like bright blue.
No,
but-
I don't think so. It wasn't a leisure suit. He was wearing kind of a blazer situation,
Okay.
I think.
It was a beastly bulging man, though.
Okay. Well, it could
The
have been
plates
right.
were
Not
from
bad
Kansas.
bulging.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think he's Cooter Light. Probably the closest thing we got, I would say.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
might be a.
yeah.
I mean, he did like his patheticness is definitely the highest mark for him because he
Yeah.
does a full scale like cowardly runaway.
And arrogance with his like, I'm
oh,
good
yeah.
looking, I'm an actor.
Dude, he's got
Like, I think he's solid, Cooter.
Yeah, I think he's an alright Cooter. I just
Mhm.
assume give it to him because I don't really want to parse the 100 other characters. That
Yeah,
definitely hit
Yeah,
at
to
least
have
one of
nothing
these
going
items.
on, yeah.
There's no
Yeah, but nothing
standout.
really substantial.
Yeah.
That's good
So
for that
yeah,
guy.
Morgan Steele is the Cooter of the
There
week.
you go.
All right, we got him.
That's good enough for me. We got him.
Gentlemen, let's chill the fuck out. Talk about what we've been watching this week.
Hey gang, what you been watching?
Juice, why don't you kick us off? What you been watching?
All right, dude. I've been watching so much because we skipped last week because it was our 400. So here's some things. I finished Wednesday. Pretty solid. I might do a mini cast on that if I can work up the motivation. I watched Troll that came out this week. It was Netflix. It was okay for what it was. It honestly really just kind of made me want to watch Troll Hunter, which is much better and awesome. But I still get a kick out of the idea of like trolls, and I want to see kind of more Swedish films about trolls. But it wasn't great. But I kind of just like threw it on as I was watching some meals, and so kind of it was fine in that
Yeah,
way.
you gotta pay the troll toll to get inside this boy's ho ho ho.
Exactly.
Nailed
Mhm.
it.
I watched some classic Christmas films like Elf and watched Christmas Vacation with the boys while we were drunk and eating some za.
Hell yeah.
Well, you watched some of it. You also
Yeah, I did
snored
pass
loudly
out.
through some of
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
I watched a movie called Soft and Quiet, which was not it's a horror movie from this year. It was in no way what I was expecting and ended up being a lot more brutal and difficult to watch than I ever anticipated, and to a point to where it pretty much like kind of made me queasy, and it was not a pleasurable watch. I'm not saying it was a bad movie, but it was too real and it really threw me off. So if you're gonna watch that movie, just be prepared to just not feel good. And it's like a really real down to earth type of brutality that's just like, ugh, I don't like that.
What is the movie?
Soft and Quiet.
I haven't heard of that at all.
Yeah, it
Okay.
kind of just like popped up on my radar too. I was like, oh, I'll knock it out. But yeah, hoof. I watched Booties. That movie actually, I actually kind of liked that movie. I had heard some mediocre to bad things about it, and so I went in with pretty low expectations. And on the back end of it, I was like, hey, that was a lot of fun. I actually liked that movie pretty good, and the ending got me pretty good too.
Really?
I like that. Yeah.
Oh man, I saw
Um,
that. Phew. Not to be the snob.
Yeah, you don't
Tina
wanna-
saw
I
it coming,
saw
but
it coming a mile.
I
I
did
fucking
it.
did.
I
It's
did it.
like to me it was extremely telegraphed. But
No,
Yeah.
but also, did we do a mini cast on that one?
I don't know that we
Okay.
did we? Okay.
Yeah,
I know that I
Maybe
talked
you
about it
two
briefly
did.
on the show.
Randy and I
we do
did.
it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I might listen to that. I watched Smile just today. It was I think it's probably a pretty good watch for people just getting into horror. It made me think of watching things when I was like 15 and stuff,
Yeah.
It really but it stole from a lot of stuff. It used some really bad tropes for its storytelling, and overall it's just like mediocre to kind of plain. Not crazy about that one. I watched a movie on Shudder that just dropped this week called A Wounded Fawn, and don't watch that movie. It started off so strong. Like the first 20 minutes I was pretty into it, and like it's got a pretty decent aesthetic and location, kind of reminded me a little bit of Fresh, and it just, the longer it went, the worse it got. It took the worst turns that I couldn't have even imagined it possibly taking. Not good. And then finally I watched Twister with my family. My
Oh.
parents, specifically my dad, love Twister. And so they like threw it on, and I was like, I hadn't seen it in a while. I grew up with it, and it was a lot of fun to watch. Fucking Seymour Hoffman, and it's just it was a lot of fun. It's definitely not the season
Hips
for it,
don't
but
lie.
yeah, but it was
Hips
fun.
don't lie
And I
back.
was then telling my parents, I was like, we're gonna watch this movie. We'll cover it on the cast at some point. So they're prepared now. They're ready. So
Maybe soon.
yeah,
with
maybe
those
soon.
spots
Maybe after
dropping.
this you pick, you know. So
Maybe.
that's all I've been watching. Bo Bear, what you been watching, my guy?
Ooh. A lot of shit, man. I've been watching season 2 of White Lotus on HBO. The season finale starts in about 30 minutes here. Whenever we wrap up, I'm going to go slam that into my eyeballs.
Okay.
It's a great show. If you haven't seen it, the 2 seasons are sort of standalone. They both take place at big fancy resorts called the White Lotus. The first one takes place in Hawaii. The second one takes place in Italy. And it's just about these people going on vacation, and all these crazy different things happen to them, and stuff just sort of, it's very funny. It's very much a drama. It's got some action and like some kind of horrific shit that happens too. And it's just like these people on vacation and shit goes down. It's good. The acting is incredible. I definitely recommend checking that out. Christmas Vacation with y'all, of course. I also, Christmas Bloody Christmas, I watched that. Light recommends. Like I said, I got a mini cast with all my thoughts coming here in a week and a half. Watched Jingle All the Way, which is just fucking fantastic. If you haven't seen that, Arnold Schwarzenegger, fun for the whole family.
But your wife's cookies are out of this world.
Precisely.
Ready
Your boy
to go.
Sinbad is in it. It's fantastic. I watched Bones and All in the movie theater. So this is the latest from the dude that did the Suspiria remake in 2018.
Shit, okay, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, and it's a cannibal movie. It's also very much a sort of coming of age young love story at its core. And it's got Timothy Chalamet in it, and the lead actress is a girl that I did not recognize, and I'm blanking on her name right now. It's got some like little cameos that pop up that were fucking great. Specifically, the one that showed up on screen, I shat my drawers, was David Gordon Green is just in this movie in a really small bit role.
Tonight.
And Christmas certainly died. It's got a lot of good shit going for it and a lot of bad shit going for it.
Okay.
It's a little over 2 hours. I loved the first half of this movie. I was so into it. It fucking won me over. And then it just like feels like it totally loses its momentum and stalls out, and just like maybe it just needed another edit or something. I don't know what it is, but I'd give it a light recommend, I guess. Super interesting beginning, like fucking dope. I also watched Smile. It feels like a much worse version of It Follows, kind of. Not the worst movie of the year.
Brand
Definitely-
Deuce, oh my
Definitely not the
god.
best. Oh no, he's smiling. There's definitely some scenes in this movie that are supposed to like terrify you, and I was just busting a gut. Like it did not scare me.
It Follows, except with like creepypasta premise, and that's not a good combo for me.
There was like some alien levels of drool at one point that I was just fucking cracking my ass up. And I also watched A Wounded Fawn. Not good.
Yeah.
Oh, you weren't supposed to do that.
Not good. Don't watch it.
I'm glad you agree with me, Bob. Finally, we're on the same page. That's that have say. If me and Bob, we're usually on different scale, like ends of the spectrum.
Watch me love this fucking
right.
movie. I
You
kind of
might.
need to watch it now.
Yeah, maybe.
Dude.
Oh my god.
It's definitely got.
Dude,
like,
did
some
you
loose-
thought it started off strong too?
I did. Yeah, I like that
What,
dude.
what the fuck?
The main actor who he was in the Snowtown. No, he was in Scare Me, which is another Shudder original.
I
And
watched
Scare
that.
Me is fucking fantastic.
I like the woman who is like the lead.
Yeah, she's good. Yeah,
I like
it was
the
a great
woman.
start.
I
And it's
like
got
the
this
woman.
like old school like 70s like filmic
Yeah.
look to it. Yeah, it was a great
And the
start.
setting, that cabin
Yeah.
and shit.
Yeah,
They just like
so right.
really dropped the ball on that one.
It's got some like almost maybe Lynchian shit happening. It's like wild.
I wouldn't
It's
tease that. I don't
Okay.
think.
Okay. All
Too
right.
forward to be
I think that
Lynchian.
let's-
Yeah, maybe so. Yeah.
I don't know, man. I think that calling anything Lynchian at this now is like it's just a go-to word. It kind of
It's-
lost its meaning after the.
It's kinda
3,000
weird.
dropping.
It-
That's unusual.
it's
somehow.
more than kind of weird. That's
Yeah,
for sure.
well,
Yeah. that's
Anyway, it's not great. That's all I've been watching. Randy, what have you been watching?
Okay, let's do this. So on the way down to Florida, on the way down to North Carolina to visit family for Thanksgiving, listen to Down the Hill podcast, which is about the Delphi murders. It's extremely interesting case that is currently active, and like things are happening with that right now. I very much recommend it. It's like one of these. It's a crazy case where like they have the crazy elevator pitch is this, that they have an image of the killer, the presumed killer, and audio of the presumed killer, and a location where it happened, and bodies, but they
Yeah.
do not, at least up until recently, they did not have a public suspect that they had arrested. So it's a fuck, and it's
What's the
over
cri-
5-year-old
What's
case.
the crime?
Murder
Bunch
of
of murders?
murder of two like middle school girls.
Oh,
Very horrific,
damn.
apparently, but very little
No.
details have been released. Anyway,
Um,
if you're like interested in that sort of thing, then that's fine. I know that there's definitely a group of people who do not find that appealing. So
how do they have
avoid.
audio?
Because the girls recorded the guy.
What?
They found it on their phones
like
video
only
of
a
him.
video recording?
of the guy walking. Yeah, they
I-
surreptitiously recorded this guy, and it's the last thing that they recorded.
God
They
damn.
put it on Snapchat.
Oh,
It's horrible.
that's
Anyway,
so
I didn't mean to get
weird.
bogged down in this. It's a really fucked up thing, and may the person who committed these atrocities eat my shit.
If you listen to Straight
watched-
Chillin' Crew, turn yourself
Yeah.
in and kill yourself.
And eat Randy's shit.
Yeah, first
Guy
nice
out
eating
there.
helping of my shit.
First do that.
God
Black
damn.
Christmas 2006 I finally watched. I know that we're going to be discussing the original soon, so I decided to check that out.
Okay.
Not nearly as bad as I thought it would be, and had a lot of familiar faces, which I didn't anticipate.
Mm.
At least faces that are familiar to me now. But ultimately fucking weird. I also got to see an early screening of during the week that they had an early screening of Glass Onion. I watched that. It's
Mm.
a lot of fun. The more I think about it, the more I like it. I
Yeah.
don't think it'll ever sort of replace the absolute surprise smash that was Knives Out,
Yeah.
but it was a lot of fucking fun. And suffice it to say that there's some the ultimate revelations made some striking correlations to current events for me, and it's
Huh.
not like in a way that's like hyper political, I wouldn't say, but buddy, those connections are there to draw, and it's kind of fucking hilarious for doing that. I also watched Fat Man, which to me was like the partner of our movie tonight, Violent Night, because it's again like a very violent version of Santa Claus. It's got Walter Goggins and the much maligned Mel Gibson, who I normally wouldn't give a time of day, but we watched it, and I was very surprised with how much I liked the take they had on Santa as just sort of like this beleaguered, put upon like civil servant almost.
Mm.
I don't know. I know that there's been similar things in the past, but the way they depicted it to me was it felt fresh, even if it wasn't entirely fresh.
Oh,
And
damn.
I did love the Goggins character quite a bit. So yeah, I liked it a little bit better than this Violent Night movie.
Mel
if we're
Gibson
putting a
is
number on
Santa
it.
Claus.
He is.
Yeah,
He's the
he
Fat
is.
Man.
Damn.
Mr.
It's
Fat
not the
Man.
best movie in the world, but it was better than I anticipated. So I'll give it that. I got to be quicker now.
Randy, just his name is Walton Goggins. That's all. Please continue.
What did I say? Walter?
Walter.
Walter, yeah.
Okay, yeah, Walton Goggins. Sorry about that. Christmas Evil. Rewatched that. That fucking movie rules.
Yeah,
Um,
it does.
It gets better every time I watch it, I think. Mythic Quest I started watching, and I'm still not 100% sure I like that show or not, but I like parts of it. So I'm sticking with it for a little bit longer. I don't know if you guys know that one, Rob McElhenney, and it's an Apple TV original, so probably not that many people have seen it. But I think it's it's a reasonably good comedy. I think it's just not. I'm not sure about it. I'm not 100%.
Did you finish Severance?
No, I'm still trying. I'm like, it's tough to wrangle me and Becky at
Mm,
the same time, and we're trying to do
gotcha.
that together. I watched at Alamo they had a dual feature called Season 2 Dismember, I want to say, that was two horror Christmas films. The first was Do Not Open Till Christmas, the recent Vinegar Syndrome release, which, buddy, was fucking sloggy as shit, and which I can understand why it fell into the video nasty craze of the era. It's a BBC, or not BBC, oh my god, it's a UK British production, and it was definitely a video nasty, which is why it was lost for, I guess, a number of years. It's not my favorite, but it was worth watching, I think, as somebody who's interested in that sort of thing. And the other was Night of the Comet, which I unfortunately started at Bob's but did not get to finish before having to leave town, and I got to finish it. And I really liked that movie. It's also not the most Christmassy movie of all time by any means, but it is an interesting movie that I think falls at a very specific point in time for 80s horror. It's got like Mary Warnov's in it for some reason. Like, it's just like, it's got the like, there's a lot of chopping mall crossover in that. Let's see. I also watched the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special, and I'm sorry to be this guy, I did not like it. I thought it was very, very chintzy and not that funny. All the jokes did not land for me.
Blew ass.
Oh wow! I
man.
watched it too.
I'm so glad that we
was
can hate together.
Okay, it did blow me away, but I didn't think it blew ass. But yeah.
I know that they were trying to go for like a Star Wars holiday special pastiche sort of, but it kind of gets lost in the MCU-ness of it all, and it just doesn't. And like the referential Kevin Bacon shit, I don't know, man. It just didn't make me laugh at all. Layers of Fear 2, I've been playing through that. I don't know if I really fucking like that game. I don't really like the repetitive chases. I don't remember if I played
2. Maybe I
one is incredible. I love
one's
one.
good.
And 2, I thought it's not that terribly different, but there's like a key difference in that there's like a consistent thing that will show up in multiple levels and kind of chase you around, and you can die. And I don't.
Oh, I don't think I did that.
And then I just started. I played about half an hour of a game called What Remains of Edith Finch, which is a critical darling of some capacity. That came out on Switch, and I used my rewards points from Nintendo to buy it for free. And so far, it's quite fucking engaging. It's pretty morose little tale so far, and I'm enjoying it. So that's it. That's the end of the list. I'm done.
All right.
Sweet. Well, we have one last segment to go, boys. Let's get into our hotline screams.
Hotline scream.
If you are listening and would like to call in to leave a voicemail to be featured on next week's show, hit us up at 904-638-3231.
Wait, did we skip trivia?
Yeah, I said there really wasn't any.
Oh, okay, good. Okay.
We moved on. Thanks for joining the show. It took you this long to realize that?
Well,
the file. We do have one voicemail tonight. We're going to hear from our boy, Hugh. Let's hear what Hugh has to say. Janus, my boy Janus.
Yeah, it's Hugh calling. A little bummed this week. I was all ready for last week. You guys were doing the podcast on 400. Well, I pulled a Randy. I watched the wrong movie. I watched 300. It's about Spartans or something. I wouldn't really classify it as a horror movie. But no, congratulations on 400 episodes. I did listen to the podcast. Very entertaining. Really enjoyed it. I was a little concerned. A couple of weeks ago, I turned 64. And I was a little concerned on where I would fit into this show's demographic. I looked at it behind the scenes on YouTube, and I was happy to see that, you know, everything was fine because I could tell that Bob was about my age. So I figure everything's good. I decided to get off the bad run of movies, so I decided to watch all of the Universal Monster classic movies. I've never seen any of those. Yeah, they're all pretty good. I enjoyed watching those. And then I decided to watch some of the originals and remakes. So I watched The Thing from Another World and The Thing. And I watched The Blob, the remake and the original. I watched The Birds and Birdemic. They were all pretty good. I consider them all pretty good movies. Birdemic is crazy. I was also going to say that if anyone's a legend, I would say it has to be the librarian. I heard the podcast where she said she was going to read 120 books this year. The only thing I've read 120 times in a year is probably the drive-through menu at McDonald's. So I think the librarian's probably the legend. Like I said, enjoyed the 400 show. I hope to be around when you hit 800. But like I said, just turning 64, another 8 years or so, I'll be 72. So it's probably 50 or 50 shot that I'll still be around.
That's the end of the recording.
Damn, Janus.
Hey, man, happy belated birthday to you.
Yeah,
I hope
happy
you had a
birthday.
really, really happy
For
birthday,
real.
man.
And also, that's a fuck ton of horror movies. And also,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Like that's it. It seems like I welcome you calling in anytime you want to try out your new Tight 3 stand-up comedy.
Dude, right? You're just doing
That
fucking
shit was great.
stand-up.
I would
Joke
love if
after
that's
joke.
the turn the voicemail segment takes from here on out.
Also, he's listened to like all our episodes this year. That's a fuck ton.
That's a lot,
of
man.
listening.
It is.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for the support, man, and thank you very much for calling in and making us laugh. That was great.
Yeah, and actually, yeah, that's a good thing. The librarian needs to call in a couple weeks and let us know
The update, yeah.
the update
Total
on how
book
many
count.
books.
I think for episode 500, if we end up doing another live show, we should have Hugh open for us with like just a 20-minute stand-up bit. You know, we'll fly him in from wherever and we'll have him open us. Fucking
Bob.
perfect.
Bob, you know how hard it is for somebody your age to get away. Come on.
Hey, these hips definitely don't lie because they're both blown the fuck
Mhm.
out. Let me tell
We
you.
got a wide gap between me and Bob, you know.
Between these cheeks.
One might actually call Predator Bob a groomer if you had such an inclination.
Oh, God.
It's really fucked up and incorrect. God damn.
6 inches to freedom, the Predator Bob story.
Fucking hell, dude.
That's the next documentary I'm producing.
A huge anus production.
A loose anus production.
But I could see Bob now just prowling the streets, seeing a young Soju Stains looking nubile and just going,
Hey, wanna go get some jujubes with me?
Fuck no. Give me
Hey.
some good shit.
Drippy Sanus Productions.
You
Coming
help
your
me
way.
get some ice cream then, you know.
Help me get
Yeah,
some
They're
ice
talking
Treat a
my
guy right.
language. Yeah.
Treat a child right, apparently. Thanks for calling,
Jesus
Hugh.
Christ.
It's always good to hear from you, man. Again, if you guys are listening, want to call and leave a voicemail for next week's show, hit us up at 904-638-3231. Joe Mangs, do you have prompts you want to throw out for next week's show?
Give us your
Christmas
favorite
list?
Christmas horrors.
Oh.
I would love to know.
Also, Christmas
that's
list.
really-
What's on your Christmas list?
What do
True
you
that.
want
What
from
do you
Santa
want?
Claus?
A straight chilling shirt, a mug, perhaps. Hmm?
I mean, we're not.
You want to touch
we're-
Justin's face?
How much would
free.
you?
That's free. Justin will
We've
just
been
show
down
up
this
at your
road
house
before.
and you just stroke his face away, clean off,
Mhm.
face off
Clean
style,
off.
just
Damn, Bob.
forehead
It's
to
my
chin,
face.
just take it right off. I want to take his face.
Okay, Predator Bob. Come on now.
Purely and simply evil.
Evil. Yeah, what do you want for Christmas? Let us know. It's right around the corner. Yeah, that does it this week here at Straight Chilling. We'll be back next week with a brand new show. As always, We're going to be talking about the winner of the December poll pick, which was Black Christmas from 1974, the original Black Christmas.
Hell yeah.
Slam that into your eyeballs. Get ready for next week's show. Until then, please rate, review, and subscribe to us on iTunes. Follow us on Twitter at STR8_chilling. On Instagram, Straight Chilling Podcast. Did I say that one? I don't know. It's all the same. It's just Straight Chilling Podcast everywhere.
I
You know where to
I know
find
you're an
us.
old. I know you're an aging
It's the
gentleman,
same.
Bob, but try and keep it together.
It's all the same.
Write
If you
us a
wanna-
letter at 6969 Briarwood.
dudes with the big huge anuses.
If you leave a stone tablet in my
Avenue.
temple, I will respond as promptly as I can.
Sure. Nail it to the church wall. Somebody will read it. Church door, whatever. If you do want to join in on our daily Slack channel conversations, hit us up on one of our social media outlets. Say that you want to do so, and I'll send you a link. We had a few new additions here recently. Our squad is growing, and it's lovely to have you all. Hopefully, you're enjoying the community. Yeah, that does it this week. Until next week, as always, all you mother truckers, please keep chilling.
Christmas dies tonight.